Mary O'Brien's a mom. She's a housewife. She has 5 sons. She's been doing her best to nurture them into, and in some cases through, the public schools. And in 1997, she began to see what was happening with high-stakes testing and how it was damaging her children and the children around her. And she decided to do something about it. So as a parent, she's been making one heck of a fuss and causing a lot of things to begin to change. Please welcome Mary O'Brien.
Hello, I'm the mother, as he said, I'm the mother of 5 sons, ages 10 to 23. I live in the Upper Arlington School District. I began my journey fighting high-stakes testing, the major component in standards-based education reform, 7 years ago. I was the parent representative to our elementary school's building planning team. The teachers on this team complained bitterly about the detrimental effects of the 4th grade proficiency test, that what it would have on our curriculum. The school's curriculum was inquiry and literature-based, child-centered, truly a joyful learning environment. Standardized tests were not greatly valued. Comprehensive, teacher-developed assessments and evaluations, including portfolios of students' work, gave parents a DVD of where our children were in their learning, as opposed to a snapshot analogy of a standardized test. As test mania swept through our school district, the joyful learning environment was transferred into what a former assistant superintendent termed a standards-based district. The majority of parents and educators in my district care only about the education of the students in this district. Only for my child is the school district's mantra. I have actually been told by parents and educators in my school district, as well as parents and educators in other wealthy school districts, that proficiency tests in standardized scripted teach-to-the-test classrooms are probably best for those children in less fortunate schools. In my 7 years of fighting high-stakes testing, I've been contacted by child psychologists who have seen their caseloads dramatically increase during the time periods leading up to testing. I have been contacted by frantic parents telling me of their children's testing horror stories. Picture a child so traumatized by the impending 4th grade test, not able to sleep and plagued by nightmares. Mom is so concerned that she takes her child to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician prescribes Tylenol PM until the testing ends. Or a child whose parents refused to allow their daughter to take the test was denied promotion to the next grade. The parents retain an attorney, the school district backs down and places the child in the next grade. Places, not promoted. The child is then booted out of the gifted talented program because the 0 score the school received when the child was wavered from the test lowered the school's overall rating. One of the worst testing atrocities involved a 4th grade child that was diagnosed with clinical depression. The child did poorly on a practice test and became suicidal as the testing date approached. Mom tried to have her child wavered, but the school administration refused to cooperate. On the day of testing, the Columbus Dispatch ran a front-page article outlining the right and the procedure to waiver her child from the proficiency test. The mom went to the school to show the administrators the article, thinking they had been misinformed. The administrators still tried to force the child to take the test. This child was identified as gifted and would help boost the overall school rating. The Ohio Department of Education actually has procedures in place to securely collect tests that have been vomited on by anxiety-ridden children. I certainly don't envy the ODE employee in charge of that position. Teachers have contacted me about crises in conscience when forced to subject their students to the abusive practices due to the testing. A teacher in Cleveland suffered a nervous breakdown trying to fight the testing madness in her school. Maggie Hagan, a brave teacher now retired, called Governor Taft's office from her cell phone while driving to school on test day a few years back. Maggie told the assistant to tell Bob Taft he could come and administrate the test himself if he felt so strongly about it. She was not going to. The latest wave of teachers to contact me have been from the fields of special education and English as a second language. New requirements of No Child Left Behind, or as many of us in the resistance have named it, No Child Left Untested, mandate that special education and ESL students must take these tests. The insanity must stop. Standards-based education reform with its No Child Left Behind is child abuse and educational malpractice.
Let me remind you, our schools do not need more competition. If Congress really wishes to fix our education system, they must find a way to give equally great education to all children in America. Once these schools are given equal funding, the community they live in may then raise the level of education through taxes. The point is, no student should have to suffer just because they don't live in Ridgeville. We need to make education a priority because the youth that is in our education system right now will be the leaders of our future. Do you really want an uneducated generation in charge of your Social Security problems? In charge of your Medicare? In charge of the state of our nation? Of course you don't. You want a creative, hardworking, smart individual to run the country you live in. So get smart, start thinking, and educate the youth of our nation. Thank you.
The Rally for Children Left Behind has put out a call for the people of our nation to put their love of their children into deeds rather than words, by making an investment on the scale that will be needed for our public education system to be one of equal equality for all. Political leadership in Ohio and in Washington were told they need to do more than just set arbitrary test score performance standards under the No Child Left Behind Act that too many students will simply not have a fighting chance to achieve. Yet here on this playing field of southwestern Ohio's newest public park, on the site of the old headquarters of the Voice of America, that beamed the message of American freedom to our adversaries in World War II, the Cold War right up through the 1980s, a very different kind of rally took place in September 2004. A rally sending out a message of confidence in the leadership of President George W. Bush, who claimed No Child Left Behind as the crowning achievement of his administration. The rally drew 50,000 to Voice of America Park in the township of West Chester and was said to be the biggest of the 2004 Bush campaign. In the 2004 election for president, so evenly split between George W. Bush and John Kerry, the state of Ohio seems to be split down the middle between two mindsets on No Child Left Behind. Those that you have just heard, a rising chorus of dissent. And then there are those who embrace No Child Left Behind as a mission to give every child in our society the skills and opportunity to prosper and achieve.